on the Hawkeye Sports Network. From Learfield, Iowa Hawkeye Softball is brought to you by Homewood and Home 2 Suites, preferred hotel of the Hawkeye Radio Network. Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. When corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Oak Knoll, an active life care community by University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. And by Iowa City Tire and Service, a proud supporter of Hawkeye softball. Iowa City Tire, where service actually comes first. Hawkeye softball is on the air.
Live from Bob Pearl Field at the University of Iowa, it's time for another chapter of Iowa softball. It's the Iowa Hawkeyes in their final home conference series of the season, a 3-game set against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Hi, everybody. My name is Lucas Strain, and you're listening to Iowa softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network. The slogan surrounding today's game is Go Green for Mental Health, to help bring awareness to mental health challenges we face every day. Staying mentally tough is something the Hawkeyes have had to do over the last couple of days, and it's something they'll need to do today if they want to be successful on the diamond. Iowa is coming in on a 4-game losing streak and has lost 6 of their last 8 games overall. And they've scored just 5 runs over their last 4 games, and 4 of those runs coming in their 7-4 loss to Iowa State on Wednesday. But the team has a chance to turn the corner and right the ship this evening in Game 1 of their 3-game series against Rutgers. The visiting Rutgers Scarlet Knights are 30-20 and 7-10 in the Big Ten, 11th in the conference. It's their first 30-win season since 2013. The Iowa Hawkeyes are 28-21 overall, 8-9 in the conference, sitting in 7th place. The matchup to look for in this evening's affair will be the Rutgers high-profile offense against the Hawkeyes' top-notch pitching staff. The Scarlet Knights are top 5 in every major statistical category in the Big Ten, including 3rd in stolen bases and totaling twice as many home runs as the Hawkeyes. But we know that Iowa won't give up that easy in the circle, boasting the 3rd-best team ERA in the conference, with 3 Hawkeyes sitting in the top 10 individually. And our pitching staff is what is always important to this team. If we look at the numbers, the Hawkeyes are just 1-8 this season when their opponents score at least 6 runs. So when their opponents score 6 or more, the Hawkeyes have only won 1 time in the 9 times that it's occurred. And when they hold their opponents to 2 runs or less, the Hawkeyes are 21-4. So 2 and 6 are the magic numbers for the Hawkeye pitching staff. 6 or more, the Hawkeyes tend to lose. 2 or less, and things tend to lean in their favor. If we look at how Iowa has fared recently, they lost to Iowa State in the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series 7-4 in their only regular season matchup on Wednesday in Iowa City. If we look at what happened, the team ran out an entirely new lineup in the game to try and get some more run support for the pitching staff, as the offense had scored only 1 run in the previous 23 innings. Those 23 innings happening last weekend as Iowa got swept by the Minnesota Golden Gophers. In the game Wednesday against the Iowa State Cyclones, the new lineup proved to be working early. Iowa took a 2-0 lead in the first inning before Iowa State eventually came back and won. This was the first time all season in which the Hawkeyes scored in the first inning and went on to lose. They had been a perfect 11-0 when scoring in the first inning, but on Wednesday, we see that trends don't always lead to success. Trends don't mean everything as the Hawkeyes lose for the first time when scoring in the first inning. So they took that 2-0 lead, but the Iowa State offense just had one of those days, striking on all 3 Iowa pitchers that pitched in Brianna Vasquez, Denali Lecker, and Jalen Adams. Sammy Diaz had the best day offensively for the Hawkeyes. She went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, an RBI single in the first that gave the Hawkeyes the lead, and an RBI single in the 7th to try and mount the comeback. Nia Carter did well at the plate as well. She reached safely in three of her four plate appearances, went 1 for 2, walked twice, and scored in the first inning. And Brianna Klosterman and Tori Bennett had hits as well. Klosterman, an infield single to lead off the 7th. And Bennett, a scorching line drive into right center for a double. Her 10th double of the season to lead the team. And we saw a little bit of history on Wednesday as well, as Brianna Vasquez got her 400th career strikeout in the first inning. The question, of course, when it comes to this Iowa team, though, is the offense. They've scored only 12 runs in their last 8 Big Ten games. And this is a team in their first 9 Big Ten games. They were averaging 5 runs a game, but over their last 8, only a run and a half. If we look over to our our Rutgers scouting report, the Rutgers head coach Kristen Butler is in her 5th season at the helm of the Scarlet Knights, a 102 and 126 record at the university. They're entering on an 8-game losing streak, by far their longest of the season. Over the last 3 weekends, they've been swept by Indiana and Penn State and lost 2 of 3 against Ohio State. It's a Penn State team that Iowa took 2 of 3 against in the first weekend of Big Ten play earlier this season. Most recently, Rutgers lost 5-4 at Indiana at home on Sunday, so this is their first game of the week after getting swept last weekend against the Hoosiers. If we look at Rutgers' numbers offensively, they have 4 players hitting over 400 this year, led by junior Kylie Sand, who's hitting .383 this season, 7th best in the Big Ten. As a team, they're hitting .287, just 4 points above Iowa. Iowa hitting .283 as a team. And that .287 mark puts them at 4th place in the Big Ten. They're also top 5 in OBP, slugging, home runs, RBIs, and have drawn the 2nd most walks. So that's going to be something to look for, this high-powered Rutgers offense. One area they really stand out is on the bases, something Coach Renee Gillespie hinted at in our post-game press conference on Wednesday after the Iowa State game. We saw Skyland Pogue entered the game for Tristan Doster, and as a little sneak peek into our starting lineup of today's game, Skyland Pogue is starting, and it's her first start since March 11th against Princeton, so her first start of Big Ten play. Tristan Doster had caught the previous 22 games for the Hawkeyes. And the reasoning for this lineup switch is because of Rutgers' success stealing bases. They have 77 steals this year, 3rd most in the conference. So it's no surprise that we see Skyland Pogue catching today, who has a brilliant arm behind the plate. And we shouldn't be surprised if we see her a lot more over the weekend. In the circle, Rutgers is not as impressive as they are at the plate. They're right around the middle of the pack, as a matter of fact. In the bottom half of the Big Ten and team ERA, the bulk of their pitching is done by freshman Ramey Gamsby. She leads the team with 99 and 2/3 innings pitched, a 3.23 ERA. They don't really have an ace per se, but they will pitch more using a committee. And there are 6 girls on the team with over 20 innings on the year. It's 2 teams in a bit of a losing skid and trying to turn things around in the final weeks of the regular season and get the boat moving in the right direction for the Big Ten tournament. It's the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Starting lineups are coming up next. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number 1.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the number 1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number one.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye softball.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
Knowing that I can make a difference in my patients' lives keeps me motivated every single day. Hi, I'm Dr. Kanya Ferguson at University of Iowa Healthcare. With academic medicine, we see the toughest cases, so we're always innovating. And we bring the best minds together to collaborate, so there's more brain power focused on you. Because that leads to exceptional care for our patients and our community. See how at uihc.org.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number one.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye softball.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin. We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number one.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye softball.
National anthem is just completed, and it's now time for our starting lineups in today's Game 1 series between the Iowa Hawkeyes and Rutgers Scarlet Knights. If we take a look, we'll start with the visiting team as always, visiting Scarlet Knights. Leading off for Rutgers in today's game will be the shortstop, and number 23, Kylie Sand, highlighted her at the beginning, their top batter. Batting second, third baseman, number 29, Peyton Lincavage. Batting third, center fielder, 37, Morgan Smith. Hitting cleanup and catching is number 20, Katie Wingert. Batting fifth and playing first is Ryan Orange. In left field, number 8, Taylor Fawcett. Batting seventh at second base, number 17, Maddie Lawson. Batting eighth, the designated player, number 25, Megan Herka. And rounding out the lineup, the right fielder, number 5, Kobe Hura. And if we take a look now at Iowa's starting pitcher in this game, it's the starter they used for much of the season, and number 3, Brianna Vasquez. Vasquez, who just caught her mother's first pitch of the game as the senior parents threw out first pitch. The 3 senior players on this team. Vasquez getting the finale of it, but now after she caught it, she's going to be the one throwing it. Vasquez, a 16-6 record on the year, 2.08 ERA over 134 and a third innings. This is her 24th start on the year. 131 strikeouts to 51 walks. Leads the team in essentially every major statistical category. Her first pitch misses upstairs, ball one, and we are underway. 5:02 here at Pearl Field in Iowa City. Game 1 between the Iowa Hawkeyes and Rutgers Scarlet Knights. I'm Lucas Strain. Thank you very much for listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Sand gets back in the left-handed batter's box, and Vasquez misses outside, 2-0. If we look at the Iowa Hawkeye defense, mostly the same as what we've seen all year, but a slight switch up out in left field over to right. We have Klosterman, Roman, and Carter. So the outfield remains the same that it's been for much of the season in Coach Gillespie. Vasquez's 2-0 is called strike one on the outside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Looking around the infield for the Hawkeyes, it's essentially the same as well. Grace Baines at third, Tori Bennett at shortstop, Anna Streff at second, and Sammy Diaz at first. So the lineup they've pretty much ran with, at least they ran with last Wednesday against Iowa State. The 2-1 is called strike. Bit of a delayed strike call from our home plate umpire. Kylie Sand was looking to throw down a drag bunt, but pulled back at the last second, and the count's 2-2. The real change for the Hawkeye defense comes in the form of Skyland Pogue behind the plate, getting her first start at catcher since March 11th against Princeton. The 2-2 off speed is in the dirt. Nice block from Pogue, but Sand didn't offer at it, and the count is full. Brianna Vasquez, who started the Wednesday game, she went 2+ innings, giving up 3 runs on 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, walked 2, but also hit 2 Iowa State batters. The full count pitch is a pop fly on the infield right to Tori Bennett, who makes the catch, and we have our first out of the ball game. So up now for the Scarlet Knights will be their third baseman, number 25, Peyton Lincavage. Lincavage this year is hitting .278, a .434 OBP, and is slugging .571. Has 8 home runs on the season. Those 8 would lead the Iowa team. This is a Rutgers offense that has hit twice as many home runs as the Hawkeyes. Vasquez pumps in strike one on the inner half, 0-1. And it's a good sign that Brianna Vasquez retired our leadoff batter in this game. We saw on Wednesday's game in the 7 innings that Iowa State came to the plate, the leadoff runner reached safely in 5 of them. And Vasquez pumps in strike 2, so quickly 0-2 to Lincavage. Vasquez looked really good through her first 2 innings of work on Wednesday against the Cyclones. Scoreless pair of innings, but then in the third, after getting her 2-run lead, she gives up a 3-run shot off the bat of Iowa State's leadoff batter, Ochoa. Iowa State took the 3-2 lead and never looked back. Vasquez misses low and in the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Iowa wearing their gray uniforms today. It's gray unis with yellow lettering, Hawkeyes written across their chests, and yellow numbers across their back with white trim around everything. Ball 2 misses outside. Wearing white pants with black stirrups over a pair of white socks. I was getting a little excited today as when I walked into the ballpark, Iowa was for their warm-ups were wearing white pullovers. I was really hoping that the Hawkeyes would be repping an all-white jersey. But they're wearing their grays today as Vasquez misses upstairs and the count goes full. When the Hawkeyes wear gray this season, they are 6-5. One of their most heavily used jerseys this year. Gold, the jersey they wear most often, 11-6 in those. My personal favorites as well. And now we have a dead ball hit by pitch. It just ran in and hit off the forearm of Lincavage, so that is now back-to-back games in which Brianna Vasquez has hit an opposing batter. Hit 2 girls on Wednesday against Iowa State. The new Rutgers batter will be Morgan Smith, the center fielder. Smith is hitting .331 this year, a .407 OBP. Vasquez misses inside 1-0 on the screwball. In this Rutgers offense, they have 4 players hitting over .300 on the season. 4 of the 5. All 4 of them are in the top 5 in the batting order. Here's a long foul ball down the left field line. Klosterman gives chase, but just runs out of room. Count evens at 1-1. Morgan Smith has the second best batting average on the team. Then it's one of 3 players who has started now all 51 games this year for Rutgers. 51's quite a few games. You see, Iowa usually has more games than their opponents. Iowa playing in their 51st today. And here's a foul ball in foul territory, but Klosterman has room on this one, makes the catch. Tagging from first is Lincavage. She slides in safely into second base, but at the cost of Iowa getting the second out of the inning. So a nice catch by Briley Klosterman in foul territory down the left field line, but heads up base running from Lincavage. And now Rutgers has a runner in scoring position with 2 away, and Katie Wingert, the Scarlet Knight catcher, is at the plate. Rutgers is wearing red uniforms today with white pinstripes, kind of the reverse than what you would typically see. More common in softball than it is in baseball, but Rutgers red uniforms with white pinstripes on both the jersey and the pants. Ball 1 misses outside. Nice stick job from Pogue behind the plate, but the umpire wasn't buying it. 1-0. The jerseys have white numbers on them with black trim around them, over white long sleeves and white stirrups. The 1-0 pitch from Vasquez is fouled off over the first base dugout, and the count's 1-1. Iowa playing shallow defensively. Don't want a base hit to lead to a run for the Scarlet Knights. We've already seen aggressive base running from Lincavage out at second base, and we know that she's more than likely going to get sent home on any type of base hit. Count's now 2-1 as the fastball misses. Katie Wingert has 38 RBIs this season. That's the second most on the team, trailing only Morgan Smith, the 3-hole batter. And we got called strike 2 on the lower inside corner, so Vasquez is pumping that inside part of the plate. And now deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Runner stands on second for Rutgers. Vasquez looking to work around the 1-out hit by pitch. The full count pitch is a ground ball to Bennett at shortstop, field cleanly, and the throw over is on the money. So a nice and easy 6-3 putout gets Vasquez around the 1-out hit by pitch. So Rutgers goes scoreless in the top half. Iowa's coming up to bat. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, Get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
Hawkeyes coming to bat for the first time today. And the lineup looks a little bit different. If you've been following along at Iowa softball all season and you didn't pay attention to Wednesday's game, this lineup will kind of make you question a little bit. We saw a brand new lineup from Coach Renee Gillespie, who's in her 5th season at the helm of the Hawkeyes, 111 and 107 record. And Briley Klosterman is going to lead things off. Now, leading off is not unfamiliar territory for BK. She was, of course, the Hawkeyes' leadoff batter last year. She's leading off and in left. Tatiana Roman in the 2-hole in center field. Nia Carter moves down from the 1 spot into the 3-hole. And I asked Coach Gillespie about this yesterday, and she said, well, she's always going to be getting hits. We want people to be on in front of her when she's getting those hits so she can drive in some runs. Carter was tied for the second most RBIs on the team, and that's coming out of the leadoff spot. So you move her down into the 3-hole, have to imagine more runners are on base, and it gives her more of an opportunity to drive in runs. So Klosterman will dig in. Denali Lecker's hitting cleanup as the DP moves back up after it's been sent down a couple of times to hit 6th or 7th in the lineup, but hitting cleanup again today. And Klosterman swings first pitch, hits a ground ball to second base. It's fielded and thrown over to first. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Jaden Vickers, the Rutgers pitcher. Vickers has the second most innings pitched on the team this season. The lefty, Iowa, you don't see very many left-handed pitchers, do you, in softball or in baseball for that matter. Vickers, a 3.02 ERA with a 9-6 record over 83 in the 3rd innings pitched. Tatiana Roman watches, called strike 1 on the outside corner, 0-1. We continue with the rest of the Iowa lineup. Sammy Diaz is batting 5th and playing first base. Diaz had a really good day at the plate offensively yesterday, or on Wednesday for the Hawkeyes, going 2 for 4, driving in 2. Roman fouls one down the left field line. And the count is quickly 0-2 to Roman. Roman's hitting over 300 this season. And she had a very good weekend a week ago against Minnesota. Really one of the only ones who had a solid day at the plate for the Hawkeyes, as the 0-2 misses outside. Good spot, but the catcher behind the plate and Wingert was set up outside. And the ball was just over the chalk of the right-handed batter's box. And the left-handed Roman doesn't offer. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Hawkeye center fielder. I said last weekend she did well. She went 3 for 4 in the game on Sunday, and she hits a ground ball to shortstop, and it's botched by Kylie Sand. And it was a two-ball chopper that Sand had to charge to get the slap hitting Roman. She tried to field it shorthanded, and it hit off the very end of her glove and kicked towards the 3rd baseline, and they will call it a hit. And I think I have to agree, because Roman was out of the box so quickly and Sand had to charge so fast. I don't think the Rutgers shortstop really had to play over at first. So a 1-out infield single for Tatiana Roman, and it brings up, most would agree, is Iowa's best offensive player in Nia Carter. Carter, the senior, leading the Big Ten in nearly every statistical category. She hits a line drive, hits our base umpire out behind second base, and skids into the outfield. So that'll go down as a line drive single, but it's a line drive that the second base umpire tries his best to get out of the way of, but it's slicing off the left-handed bat of Carter. And as he's practicing the 5 Ds of dodgeball, it hits him right in the back, so he can't dodge a wrench. He can't dodge a ball either. And he appears to be okay, but it's a single for Nia Carter. And the Hawkeyes have runners on first and second with 1 out. Back-to-back singles for the Hawkeyes, and Denali Lecker at the plate. Lecker is the DP today, hitting .243, swings and misses first pitch, 0-1. Now, you never really say we're looking for a home run, but just as a morale boost, Denali Lecker could really, really use a home run. Is yet to hit her first home run in conference play. has been struggling just a little bit in Big Ten, but she is a very good hitter at the plate. She got off to a scorching hot start of the season and has the ability to turn things around. Doesn't chase the 0-1 up and out of the zone. Count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. We talked about Lecker having the ability to turn it around. In Wednesday's game, she went 0 for 2 with a walk, but she had hit safely in each of the last 2. She got out to a bit of a hit streak to start the season, but the beginning of Big Ten play was not too kind to her. Looking to turn things around now. The 1-1 is upstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. Drawing the walk is not something that's left Lecker's game. 18 walks on the season, including the one on Wednesday. As Wingert, the Rutgers catcher, will make the slow jog out into the circle and have a chit-chat with Jaden Vickers. Vickers already facing her 4th Hawkeye of the half inning. But we saw BK swing first pitch, and we saw Nia Carter swing first pitch, so Vickers is just preparing to throw her 10th of the inning, but there's already traffic on board. Denali Lecker at the plate, a couple of ducks on the pond. Hawkeye in scoring position with Roman at second, who had an infield single, and Nia Carter hit a line drive off of our base umpire's back. 2 balls and 1 strike as Lecker gets back into the box. Checks her swing, but fouls it off the handle of her bat, and it goes into the netting. Count evens at 2 apiece. Lecker leads the team with 32 RBIs this season, but she only has 2 of them over the last month. Only 2 RBIs in Big Ten play, 30 of them in the non-conference. And she swings and misses on a fastball on the outside black, and there's 2 away. First strikeout of the game for Jaden Vickers. Now, Sammy Diaz is the new Hawkeye batter. Diaz starting her 50th game today at first base for Iowa. And she's really the one you want to have up there right now if you're the Hawkeyes. On Wednesday, she went 2 for 4 with a pair of RBI singles. One in the first that gave the Hawkeyes a 1 and really a 2-0 lead, following up in an error. She watches a ball outside, 1-0. And then her second RBI single came in the 7th. A rip through the left side of the infield. They gave Iowa their 4th run of the game and tried to mount a comeback in the bottom of the 7th inning, but it came up just short. Tying run came to the plate, but was stranded there. Diaz is ahead 1-0, and she lines one down the right field line, but foul. A little bit late on the fastball. Diaz, the 5'5" junior out of Cypress, California. And it's been a bit of an adventure for her the last week and a half. Last Wednesday against Western Illinois, she had her first triple of the season, and then she followed it up last weekend against Minnesota with her second one down the right field line. So after no triples over the year, she gets a pair of them in a 2-day span. She's able to check her swing on a pitch outside of the zone, is ahead 2 balls and 1 strike. And what is probably the most beautiful day the Hawkeyes have played in Big Ten play, weather-wise I'm speaking, as the 2-1 misses outside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Sammy Diaz, and I say that the weather is probably the best they've had all year. 71 degrees here in Iowa City, partly cloudy. And just a bit of wind, literally not even a touch, just 3 miles an hour. And this after playing in 35-degree weather last weekend up in Minnesota. And the 3-1 misses outside for ball 4, and it loads the bases. That's Diaz's team-leading 22nd walk of the year. And it loads the bases for Tori Bennett, the Hawkeye shortstop. Former 3-hole hitter for much of the season. And how did she bounce back with it Wednesday, the first time she hit 6th in a long time? Well, she scorches the first ball she sees into left field, but it just happened to be right at the left fielder for Iowa State. And how does she back that up? Well, she just rips a line drive into the right center field gap for a double off the wall. She finished 1 for 4, but both of those balls off of her bat He had to keep the morale high. Watches ball one outside, 1-0. Bases are loaded with 2 away here in the bottom of the first inning. Hawkeyes looking to strike first. With the bases loaded this season, Torrey Bennett is hitting .333. The 1-0 is a fly ball into center field. Back goes Smith. Couple of steps, but she makes the catch. And there is out number 3. Hawkeyes strand the bases loaded after a pair of singles and a walk. After one complete, Hawkeyes and Rutgers are still scoreless. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
Hawkeyes' final home Big Ten series of the season. Looking to right the ship heading into Big Ten tournament. And they're really trying to right the ship at home as well. Only a 3-6 record this season at Pearl Field. A 28-21 record overall, 8-9 in conference play. But if you look at the Big Ten standings, the Hawkeyes have beaten the top 2 teams. Walking off Northwestern, who of course is number 1 and is in the top 25, sitting at number 22, and then also split with Nebraska, though both of those series coming very early in the Big Ten schedule for the Hawkeyes. Leading off the top of the second inning for Rutgers will be their first baseman, number 1, Ryan Orange. It was one thing I'm really appreciative of this Rutgers team, very easy pronunciations for many of their players. Ryan Orange, Rutgers' first baseman, hitting .320 this season, a .367 OBP. Vasquez was able to get the leadoff batter out last inning, something that really plagued her on Wednesday. Misses low and inside, 1-0. For Orange in the last game against Indiana on Sunday, as Vasquez misses upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. Orange was the designated player, hitting down in the 8 spot. No, that's the 9 spot, excuse me, but when 1 for 3, scoring a run, and that caused her to move up into the 5 hole. And she swings and hits a hard ground ball past the diving glove of Streff, and Roman's unable to cut it off. It rolls to the wall, and Orange is thinking 3, and she's got a stand-up, a leadoff triple for Rutgers. It was a missile of a ground ball just past the diving glove of Anna Streff on the infield. Tatiana Roman, the Hawkeye center fielder, tried her best to cut it off in the right center field gap, but it was hit harder than she expected and just spun past her glove. She tried to dive at it as well, but it skidded just underneath the leather and rolled to the wall, and Ryan Orange hit a stand-up triple. And here's a line drive into right field. The catch is made by Carter. Her throw home is just a little late. Head first slide from Ryan Orange, and Rutgers is on the board first. Nia Carter with a fantastic play out in right field. The catch, the transfer, and the throw were nearly all perfect, but the speed of Ryan Orange was just ahead of the throw in the head first slide on the outside of the field, just outside of the tag from Skyland Pogue. And Rutgers is leading 1-0 here in the top of the second. And Maddie Lawson is the new Rutgers batter. She swings first pitch. She lines one down the left field line, but just goes foul. Turned foul just at the end. This is a Rutgers offense that I told you at the top is very high profile. Or top 5 in nearly every statistical category in the Big Ten. They have the 3rd most RBIs out of everyone in the conference. And this is 1 through 9 in the order. It's not just the top of the lineup. But anybody and everybody is going to be able to hit. And here's a line drive into left field. Klosterman fields it off one hop. And that's a one-out single into left field for Maddie Lawson. Now it's a couple of hard-hit balls out of the 5, 6, and 7 spots in this Rutgers lineup. A triple on the ground, a line drive into right for the sac fly, and now a rip into left field off the bat of Lawson. One away, runner on first for Megan Herka, the Rutgers first baseman. Left-handed batter, watches ball one, miss low and outside, 1-0. This is the 23rd time in which Iowa's opponent scored before they did. They are 6-16 in the previous 22. Herka sends a fly ball into right center field. Tatiana Roman ranges over, makes the catch, and there are 2 away. And it's now for the 9 spot in the order for Rutgers, Kobe Hura. We got Herka and Hura batting back-to-back in this Scarlet Knight lineup. It's going to throw me off just a little bit. Hura gets into the right-handed batter's box with Lawson still on first base. Hura's hitting .231 this season out of the 9-hole. Watches the curveball miss outside, 1 ball and, no, excuse me, they called that a strike, 0-1. Hura 385 bat OBP, and he's hitting .346 with 2 away. And just misses one off the elbow. 1-1. Hura has 3 home runs on the season out of the 9 spot, and I told you that this Rutgers team has doubled up the Hawkeyes in home runs. It's a team that has power everywhere throughout the lineup. And the off-speed catches the lower outside corner, and there's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now against Kobe Hura, Brianna Vasquez still looking for her first strikeout of the game. This after getting her 400th career K on Wednesday against Iowa State. The 1-2 misses up and out, and deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Lawson stands on first in the top of the 2nd inning. Rutgers leads it 1-0. Vasquez back onto the rubber, into the motion and the pitch. He is fouled down the third baseline. As I said, Vasquez getting her 400th career strikeout on Wednesday against Iowa State in what has been a dominant season for her so far for the Hawkeyes. A transfer from UCF is Vasquez out of Norwalk, California. So a bit all over the place. California to UCF. Now playing at the Hawkeyes. Ground ball on the infield. Vasquez out of the circle, fields it, and throws over to first base for out number 3. Nice play there. Couple of PFPs getting shown off by Brianna Vasquez. And that's the 3rd out retired, but not before Rutgers is able to score the first run of the ball game on the sacrifice fly from Fawcett out into right field. After 1.5, Hawkeyes trail 1-0. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
We all love a good win, catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
Leading off the bottom of the 2nd for the Hawkeyes will be 3rd baseman number 23, Grace Baines. Now the Hawkeyes on Wednesday played the Iowa Corn Cy-Hawk Series. And it's only fitting that we tell you about our friends over at Iowa Corn. When corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Take a closer look and you'll discover the many connections you have to corn, and those connections translate into wins for farmers and wins for all Iowans. Share your winning moments using hashtag IowansWin. Iowans looking for a win now Hawkeyes have lost 4 straight, facing the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, who are also coming in on a losing streak, having lost their last 8. Grace Baines leading off for the Hawkeyes. Baines hitting .262 this season. Watches strike 1. 0-1. Baines has also fluctuated up and down the Hawkeye lineup. Was hitting in the cleanup spot for a majority of Big Ten play. This in part of a 10-game hitting streak. She saw that 10-game hitting streak end 2 weeks ago. As she fouls off pitch number 2 down the right field line and is quickly behind, no balls and 2 strikes. She went in a bit of a rut there following that 10-game hitting streak, which caused her to get moved down in the lineup. But she started another one, had a hit in 2 straight before Wednesday's game, in which she went 0 for 2 with a walk. She was the only Hawkeye who scored in their 3-game series against Minnesota last weekend. Here's a line drive, kind of fly ball out into deep right field, but Hura goes back and makes the catch easily. And there is one away in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Skyland Pogue will be the Hawkeye batter. Pogue making her first start for the Hawkeyes behind the plate since March 11th against Princeton. Her first Big Ten start for the Hawkeyes. Pogue, the freshman out of Eureka, Missouri, came in Wednesday's game as a replacement for Tristan Doster. And Pogue watches ball 1, a little bit low. It had been 22 straight games caught by Tristan Doster before Pogue ended that streak today. And she fouls one off. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pogue, who came in Wednesday's game as a defensive replacement for Doster, and I asked Coach Gillespie about it, and she said it was just a move to get Doster a break. She knew that Doster was catching every game for the Hawkeyes, and she needed to show that she still has confidence in Pogue. Pogue's still a good hitter for the Hawkeyes. Played much of the season early on in the non-conference. Fouls this one off 1-2. In the one at-bat that Pogue had yesterday, she struck out in the 7th inning. Big spot for the Hawkeyes as they had a couple of runners on with less than 2 outs. One of the runners on was at third base. Pogue had a chance to drive one in. But a good morning, good afternoon, and good night strikeout. And she went down swinging. The 1-2, she checks her swing, and we check with the umpire, and he says no. Sticking both arms out in a horizontal position at his shoulders, signaling no swing. That one was pretty borderline. And I've said this in previous broadcasts, and I will continue to say it again until there is some kind of a rule change. I think it's amazing that we ask the base umpires if a player swung when they're standing X amount of feet away. And the 2-2 misses outside, count goes full. Now, I don't know how you're supposed to fix it, because as the home plate umpire, they're not always watching to see if there was a swing all the way around. But how is it up to the base umpire, especially if they're on the opposite side of the batter, how is it up to them to determine if a player went around or not? But anyway, the count is full on Pogue. She fouls it off the netting, so we'll do it again. Quality at bat in Pogue's first start in a little bit over a month and a half. The reasoning that we're seeing Pogue in this series is because Rutgers runs so well on the bases. And Pogue has a very brilliant arm behind the plate. Hits a hard ground ball to second base, and it's gloved by Lawson, who makes the easy flip over to first. And 2 up, 2 down in the bottom of the 2nd. Now to the 9 spot for the Hawkeyes and second baseman Anna Streff. Now there's a couple of players on this Hawkeye team who could really use a base hit, and Streff is one of them. Streff is hitting .200 this season and is really in probably the worst slump of her entire softball career. The freshman from Marion, Iowa, swings and fouls one off the netting. 0-1. I say Streff's in a bit of a slump, 2 for her last 17. Last game, she went 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts and has struck out in 5 straight at-bats. Could really, really use a base hit. Can Streff. The 0-1 checks her swing on a ball up and in the eyes. 1 ball and 1 strike, and it shows the confidence that Coach Gillespie has in Streff. She knows she's struggling right now, but Streff's the girl. That's who Coach Gillespie is confident in, and that's who she wants to be running second base for the Hawkeyes. And she hits a ground ball that is snagged by the pitcher, Vickers. A nice play by the Rutgers pitcher who throws over to first. And the Hawkeyes go 3 up, 3 down in the home half of the second. After 2 complete, Hawkeyes trail at 1-0. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number 1.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
Brianna Vasquez back out into the circle for her 3rd inning of work. Rutgers hit a couple of hard balls an inning ago. A triple, a leadoff triple, followed by a line drive of a sacrifice fly. Into right field, and a single into left, but Rutgers was only able to score 1. They lead at 1-0 now. Kylie Sand, the Rutgers leadoff batter, is going to be leading things off for the Scarlet Knights. Sand is 0 for 1. Popped up to Tori Bennett at shortstop to lead off the game. Sand in Rutgers' last game against Indiana on Sunday went 1 for 4 and scored a run. Left-handed batter. Hawkeyes playing in on the corners, trying to take away some drag bunts. And Vasquez throws first pitch, and Sand shows bunt but pulls back. 1-0. It's a Rutgers team that's hitting .287 as a squad, 4 points higher than the Hawkeyes. It's really the only category in which the Hawkeyes have really competed, except for triples, of course. Iowa loves our triples. And here's a foul ball down the left field line. Quickly, 1 ball and 1 strike. Vasquez working fast. It's a category of strength versus strength in Iowa against Rutgers. Iowa pitching staff, one of the best ones in the Big Ten. And Rutgers, a very competent batting offense. The 1-1 misses. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pogue, the catcher, held that one behind the dish just a little bit longer, looking to steal a call. Vasquez back into the motion and the pitch. He's an off-speed. Called strike 2. Count even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Vasquez doing a good job of mixing up her pitches thus far, keeping the hitters, making them guess when they're up there. Here's a line drive that gets past Tori Bennett at shortstop. Sand rounds first and heads to second base, and she slides in head first safely. And that's going to go down as a double. Aggressive base running from Kylie Sand. That had single written all over it, but she ran out of the box hard. And Roman, who wasn't necessarily lollygagging on the play, got it in quickly. But it's just the speed and aggressiveness from Sand. And that's back-to-back innings with a leadoff extra base hit for Rutgers. Last inning, the runner eventually came around and scored in orange. And now Sand stands on second after the double. Peyton Lynn Cabbage watches a called strike, 0-1. She is 0 for 0, and her first plate appearance was hit by a pitch and eventually stranded at second base in the first. Yes, retiring the leadoff batter continues to be an issue for the Hawkeyes and Brianna Vasquez. Linkavich shows bunt, coming in as Diaz, and throws over to the covering Streff at first base. So the sacrifice is placed well. Both teams will accept what happens there. Sand now stands on third base with one away. And Morgan Smith, Rutgers' leading RBI player, leading RBI batter this season, has a chance to drive one in now. She has 39 of them on the season, just one shy of 40. There's one away. And Smith watches one up and in, ball one. Smith is hitting .331 this season, is 0 for 1 today. She flied out to deep foul territory in left field. If she would do that now, it would more than likely score another Rutgers run. Here's a hard ground ball through the infield for a base hit. Another run's going to score in the form of Sand. And that's an RBI single for Morgan Smith. Rutgers lead 2-0. It's a lot of hard hit balls, a lot of squared up softballs against Brianna Vasquez so far today, and it looks like her day is going to be done. And she's going to hand the ball off to Denali Lecker as pitching coach Mandy Gardner makes her way out there. A couple of hard hit balls chase Brianna Vasquez out of this game early. So we will read her final stat line once I get things updated in my book. Brianna Vasquez finishes going 2 1/3 innings, allowing 2 runs on 4 hits with no strikeouts and no walks, just the 1 hit by pitch. So back-to-back rough outings for Brianna Vasquez, who's been Iowa's best pitcher this year. But she's going to hand the ball off to Denali Lecker, Iowa's primary relief pitcher this season. Lecker this year, this is her 23rd appearance, 21st out of the pen. A 2-1 record with a 2.07 ERA over 50 and 2/3 innings pitched. In the last game against Iowa State, she probably had the best pitching performance out of the 3 Hawkeyes. She went 2 1/3 innings, giving up 1 run on 3 hits, and the 1 run just came off of a solo home run off of the bat of Ochoa. For Iowa State, Ochoa, who hit 2 home runs on the day, but Lecker giving up just the 1 run on a solo homer. And her first pitch cuts outside, 1-0. Rutgers leads it 2-0 here in the top of the 3rd over the Hawkeyes in game 1 of our 3-game series. Lecker is pitching to Katie Wingert, the Rutgers catcher, who's 0 for 1. And she hits a hard ground ball through the left side for a base hit. Exact same spot that Smith was just able to single into left field. So the hard hit balls continue. The pitching may change, but Rutgers continues to square up these Iowa pitches. Back-to-back singles into left field puts runners on first and second with 1 out, and Ryan Orange is at the plate. Orange, who's 1 for 1, hit that hard ground ball of a triple into right center and came around and scored the first run of the game in the top of the 2nd. Fouls off the first pitch she sees, 0-1. Orange, a freshman out of Torrance, California. Long way for her to come. Going from California over to Rutgers. Fouls one off the handle, is behind 0-2. Counts 0-2. Hawkeyes trailing 2-0. Rutgers threatening to score some more. And this one's in the dirt, and it gets past Pogue. It'll probably go down as a wild pitch. Both runners advance. So Rutgers now has runners on second and third with 1 out, and Ryan Orange is at the plate. I wish I could see some advanced stats for this Rutgers offense, because a lot of these balls that they've been put in play have been hit really hard. Nonetheless, the count's 1-2. And Lecker, and here's a hard ground ball to Diaz, who's going to come home with the throw. And now Smith's caught in a rundown between third and home. Pogue chases her down, makes the diving tag as Smith tried to slide back into third. That'll go down as a fielder's choice. But Orange advances to second base. She, of course, reached on the fielder's choice, but a really nice play there from Sammy Diaz, heads up to cut down Smith, who was running home on contact. And then Skyland Pogue, the Iowa catcher, knew that we didn't want to make this a rundown. We wanted to just get this out as quickly as we can. Chase Smith back to third, and she made the diving catch, but even if she didn't, Wingert was standing on third base anyway. So an out would have been called for Rutgers. There's 2 away, runners on second and third. And Fawcett's at the plate. Fawcett with an RBI today. Runners on second and third, 1 out. And here's a ground ball to Baines on the third base line, but foul. Calls our home plate umpire. Baines came up firing and would have made the play if it was called in fair territory. Wingert stands on third, Orange is on second. Hawkeyes looking to limit this damage after Rutgers has already scored 1 in the inning. They had runners on second and third with 1 out. And a nice heads-up play from Sammy Diaz and Skyland Pogue. Stopped another run. Here's a fly ball into deep right center field. Roman's going back at the wall, at the track, and it's off the wall. 2 runs are going to score for Rutgers, and Fawcett's headed to third. She has a stand-up 2-run triple, and Rutgers now leads it 4-0. Tatiana Roman gave a great chase out in right center field. It looked like she might be able to have a chance at it, but just a tad late to hit about 3/4 of the way up the wall. And it'll go down as a 2-run double for Taylor Fawcett, her second and third RBIs of the day. And Rutgers now lead 4-0. A 2-run triple for Taylor Fawcett. Maddie Lawson is the new Rutgers batter. That's the 6th hit of the game so far for the Scarlet Knights. The 1-0 pitch misses outside. Quickly 2 balls and no strikes to Maddie Lawson. Lawson is 1 for 1, singled on one of those hard line drives into left. Rutgers has 4 runs on 6 hits through 2 2/3 innings. And here's a line drive and a nice diving / falling catch from Tori Bennett at shortstop to her right side, our left. And that'll end the damage, stop the bleeding. Here in the top of the third, Rutgers plates 3 on 4 hits. They strand 1 on third. And after 2.5, they lead it 4-0. Hawkeyes looking to get the offense going. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
Bottom of the third we go. Hawkeyes really need to get something going at the plate. It's going to be the top of the order due up for the Hawkeyes. 1, 2, and 3. BK, Roman, and Carter. Klosterman is 0 for 1. Grounded out to second base. Their second game in a row in the leadoff spot for the Hawkeyes, and what's been an overturned lineup to try and muster some run support for this pitching staff, who is continuously put in a situation in which they have to nearly hold the opponent. They have to hold the opponent to very little runs. Hawkeyes looking to come back in this one, trailed at 4-0. Jaden Vickers still in the circle for Rutgers. And the first pitch misses low, 1-0. And at least if Iowa's not going to score in this inning, got to at least just be at the plate for a long time. Make the half inning last a little bit to give your defense a break. Let Lecker just calm down a little bit in the circle. Give Pogue a break behind the plate. Just let everybody relax. The 1-0 misses just outside. 2 balls and no strikes to the left-handed hitting Klosterman. Klosterman yesterday went 1 for 4 with an infield single in the 7th. And she hits one off the fists and into the netting down the left field line. But I think we have a catcher's interference because she is running down towards first. So Hawkeyes, they'll take anything they can get at this point, a little bit of luck. And that goes down as a catcher's interference. We believe it'll go down as a catcher's interference. Hard to imagine what else that call could have been. But nonetheless, Klosterman stands on first after a leadoff catcher's interference, baby. Roman's coming up swinging first pitch and fouls it into the netting. 0-1. Roman is 1 for 1. Singled on a weak little chopper on the left side. Stayed on the infield. Rutgers shortstop Kylie Sand came over and tried to make the catch, or make the play on the short hop. Hit off the tip of her glove and skidded away, but it went down as a hit for Roman. So BK stands on first. Roman shows bunt, puts it down the third base line, but foul. And the thing is, you see the Rutgers third baseman in Linkavich is playing very close. She knows that Roman's bunting, and Roman's pretty much just saying, I'm going to put it down and I'm going to beat it out anyway. It'd go down as a sacrifice if she was thrown out. But a sacrifice bunt, it really isn't something you'd imagine right now as the Hawkeyes trail by 4. After a bit of a slump in the middle of Big Ten play, Roman's back up to a .310 batting average for the Hawkeyes. And she hits a line drive into left field. That'll go down as a base hit. Roman's able to go the other way on a piece in the lower outside corner. And Tatiana Roman's 2 for 2 with a pair of hits to the left side. Nia Carter now is at the plate. Carter is 1 for 1. She hit that line drive into center field that hit off the back of the base umpire. Hawkeyes stand at first and second with nobody out here in the bottom of the third. Roman leading the Big Ten in batting average and in hits this season. And it's really not close in either of those categories. Watches ball 1, low and outside. She has the 7th best batting average in the nation, 2nd most hits as well. She's one of 7 players in the Big Ten with 7 or less strikeouts is Carter. And this one is ball 1. I misspoke earlier. It was called strike on the first pitch. This one's called low and away. So the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. Winger, the Rutgers catcher behind the plate, keeping Klosterman honest out at second base. The 1-1 is a line drive into right field. It's going to drop in safely for a base hit. Wasn't hit hard enough to score Klosterman. And now Roman, who was advancing to third base, is going to get caught in a rut down between second and third. Now the throw home to try and cut off BK is dropped by the catcher. Now Roman gets tagged out on the throw back to second base. So very, very poor base running from the Hawkeyes. It wasn't hit hard enough to score Klosterman on the base hit. And Tatiana Roman, who was at first base, tried to go first to third, but saw that BK was still standing there before it was too late. Got caught in a bit of a rundown between second and third. And the Rutgers defense was threatening to get her out before Klosterman tried to advance home. And as soon as she tried to advance, they threw home to cut her down. And then on the throw home, Klosterman went back to third, and Roman tried to get back to second base, but she was tagged out before getting back in safely. So a bad bit of base running for the Hawkeyes in the first out of the inning, and what would have been bases loaded, no out situation turns into runners on the corners with 1 out. Denali Lecker is behind 0-2 as she just fouled this one over the first base dugout. Lecker is 0 for 1, struck out swinging in the first. Iowa team, something we've seen them struggle with is just hitting with runners in scoring position. And it's not just getting hits, but it's getting hits that's going to score. It's going to score runners. So Carter just got a hit with runners in scoring position, but it wasn't hit hard enough to score anybody. And Carter's headed down to second base after the ball. She's caught between first and second, and now they're going to throw home. Carter is still stuck between first and second, and everybody's going to get back safely. Whole lot of nothing there as Carter tried to take second and get a throw down. She did. She would have been hosed on the stolen base attempt. And then BK at third base got off third and tried to advance, but then Rutgers threw home and stopped her. Nia Carter reaches back to first base. So at the end of the day, it just goes down as a ball and a whole lot of nothing. Runners on the corners with 1 away. Lecker is behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. And she hits a fly ball into right center field. Should be deep enough to get the run in. Center fielder Smith goes over and makes the catch, and the throw comes into second. And the Hawkeyes are on the board for the first time today via the sacrifice fly from Denali Lecker. Hawkeyes trail 4-1. Denali Lecker's first RBI in what is a long time. Her third RBI of the last month, very important. The Hawkeyes leading RBI batter, her 33rd of the season. Now there's a runner on first in the form of Carter, and Sammy Diaz is at the plate. Hawkeyes now trail it 4-1. As Diaz punches this one down the right field line, but foul, 0-1. Diaz walked in the first, which eventually loaded the bases for the Hawkeyes, but they stranded the bases loaded. Diaz again on Wednesday had a really good day. As now here's a throw down to first, snap throw, but Carter's caught between first and second, and she's going to get tagged out in the rundown. So a couple of rundowns in the inning, and the Hawkeyes tagged out in 2 of them. Carter just got caught napping between first and second. Couple of outs on the bases is not going to have Coach Gillespie happy. But the Hawkeyes do score 1 run on a couple of hits. They trail it 4-1 as we enter the top of the 4th inning. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oaknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
Couple of base running mistakes for the Hawkeyes. And what was once a very good-looking inning, what would have been bases loaded and nobody out. A couple of base running mistakes led to only 1 run getting pushed across the board. But the first run is always the most difficult. And now the Hawkeyes trail it 4-1 as we enter the top of the 4th inning. Megan Herka will be the Rutgers batter. Herka's 0 for 1, flied out on a sky-high fly ball into right center field in the 2nd inning. Herka's hitting .214 from the left-handed side. Doesn't have very many ABs on the year, only 42 under her belt, but does have a home run. Herka watches ball 1 from Denali Lecker. Lecker in for her second inning of relief. So the count's 1-0. And Lecker misses one low and in the dirt, ball 2. The Iowa baseball team scheduled to be playing in Penn State today, but the game was rained out. Looking to be rescheduled later this weekend. As Iowa baseball is coming off what's been a very, very solid last couple of games. A demolishing of Upper Iowa. Here's a hard ground ball into right field. Nia Carter's coming up firing, but her throw is just high. That'll go down as a base hit. Carter had a chance at it. She's really good at that. We see it's things she does a couple of times where she'll field a hard hit ground ball in right field and come up firing to first to throw out Herka. But the throw came in just high, and that's a leadoff base hit for Megan Herka. We're going to have a pinch runner over at first as well. And it's going to be number 33, I believe, with Stanley, one of my favorite last names. So she'll stand on first, and we're going to have a change for Iowa as well. Avery Jackson started running onto the field. Avery Jackson not sure what position she's going to play yet. Coach Gillespie is talking to our home plate umpire. And it looks like the Iowa defense doesn't know who she's coming in for either. The entire infield is now standing in the circle. And she's going to come in for Streff. So Avery Jackson, a defensive replacement. And yeah, it looks like she's going to go over and play third base. And Grace Baines will move over to second. Kind of a strange time to do it. But Avery Jackson now is playing third after she subs into the game. Grace Baines moves over to second. And after 4 innings now that Rutgers has come to bat, the leadoff batter has reached 3 times. And the leadoff batter, after reaching, has came around and scored in both of the other 2 prior innings. Lecker's first pitch now to Kobe Hura, misses. Hura showed bunt, pulled back 1-0. So the new Hawkeye defense, Avery Jackson's at third, and Baines is at second. The bunt is popped up into the air, and a diving Pogue just can't make the catch in foul territory behind the plate. Got a really good jump on it, did Pogue. Went full extension, something you'd see on Sports Center, but she was just a little shy. It's something we've seen all year in the form of Avery Jackson and Anna Streff, especially as of late. The two just trying to compete with one another for that final infield spot. And the bunt is put down again, but foul. Pogue came up firing on the foul ball, picked it up and threw it down to second base to get the force out. But it was a little bit too easy because the ball was right in front of her in foul territory. The count's now 1-2 strikes to Kobe Hura. With Stanley, stands on first base as the pinch runner for Herka following the leadoff single. Lecker gets the called strike 3 on the off speed on the black, and there is one away now in the top of the 4th inning. Lecker's first strikeout of the game. And it's a big one because Rutgers now turns the lineup over, and Kylie Sands at the plate. She doubled on a line drive into left center, and that was the one that had single written all over it. But she was running hard out of the box. She eventually came around and scored as well. She shows bunt, pulls back, and it's a called strike. She's been showing bunt essentially every single pitch before she gets to 2 strikes. She's showing bunt. Eventually, of course, in her last AB, she got to 2 strikes and ripped that double into center field Avery Jackson's playing in at third. And here's a check swing and foul. And, of course, right as soon as they say something, she decides not to show bunt. But the check swing goes down as a foul ball, and Sand is now behind 0-2. Now she's going to have a little chat with the third base coach. Iowa takes a meeting of their own. Again, what is a beautiful day for a softball game. 70 degrees in Iowa City. The Iowa City-Coralville pretty much border, just on the edge of the western part of Iowa City before it meets Coralville. Here at Pearl Field, 70 degrees. This only just 1 week after 1 week after playing in 35-degree weather up in Minneapolis. There's a bit of rain just on the western part of the state, but nothing should reach over here in Iowa City. We're back in action, and the 0-2 misses outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One away with Stanley stands on first base as the pinch runner. Rutgers leads it 4-1. And the 1-2 misses low and away. Count even to 2 apiece. Again, Lecker, who is probably the best pitcher in Wednesday's game against the Cyclones. She went 2+ innings. 2 1/3 to be exact, and gave up only 1 run on a solo homer. Here's a line drive into left field, and it's going to find the gap. With Stanley's rounding third and heading to home, she's going to score easily. Now we're going to have a play at third base, and the tag is in time from Avery Jackson. Kylie Sand thrown out trying to stretch a double into a triple. But she gets the RBI, and Rutgers extends their lead 5-1. It was not really a smart play from Sand. By the time that Bennett had the ball as the cutoff out in left center field, Sand was only halfway between second and third. And now it's going to be Peyton Lincavage who watches ball 1 outside, 1-0. So 2 away in the top of the 4th inning. Rutgers has scored in 3 straight innings. 3 straight innings in which the leadoff batter reached base safely and eventually came around and scored. 1-0 misses a little bit low, 2 balls and no strikes. Due up in the home half of the 4th for the Hawkeyes will be Diaz, Bennett, and Baines. And again, Hawkeyes just continue to make a makeshift lineup and try and do anything they can to just muster some run support. The 2-0 misses outside, maybe a little bit low as well, and Denali Lecker is behind 3 balls and no strikes to Peyton Lincavage. Lincavage yet to tally an at-bat today, was hit by a pitch in the first and laid down a sacrifice bunt in the third. And it's a 4-pitch walk now as Lecker misses up high. So 3 plate appearances, but 0 at-bats for Lincavage, doing a little bit of everything. A hit by pitch, a sacrifice bunt, and now a walk. Morgan Smith, he is the new Rutgers batter. Smith is 1 for 2. Has fouled out in foul territory as she watches ball 1. And singled on a hard ground ball into left field. And that single drove in a run as well. One of the 5 runs that Rutgers has scored through 4 innings. And she hits a hard ground ball down the left side, but foul. Iowa looking to avoid their 5th straight game. Haven't won a Big Ten series since Michigan State. I believe 3 weekends ago. April 7th through the 9th, the last time Iowa won a Big Ten series. Here's a hard ground ball, and it hits off the diving glove of Avery Jackson. She's able to knock it down and keep it in the infield. But that'll go down as an infield single. Nice play from Jackson to keep it in because that had 2 bags written all over it. And I feel like Lynn Cavage was going to come around and score as well from first. But a really nice play from Jackson, keeping it in the infield and holding Lynn Cavage to second base. Katie Wingert now for Rutgers after a 2-out walk and a 2-out single. Wingert's 1 for 2. Has grounded out and singled on a hard ground ball into left. We've seen a lot of hard hit balls on the left side for this Rutgers team, very pull heavy. And Wingert swings and misses. Foul tip, actually. And the count is 0-1. Wingert is a redshirt senior. A redshirt senior from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Licker into the motion, and it's fouled off. Goes over the first base dugout just past the stands. And Lecker is ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Lecker already has 1 strikeout on the inning, but it's been a very busy inning so far for Rutgers. Lecker getting ready to throw her 22nd pitch of the frame. The 0-2. Curveball misses outside. Iowa fans are, I don't know if maybe you guys can hear it, but a couple of "come on, Blues." But Pogue was definitely set up outside. And I will say I'm right behind the plate. And I missed outside, but now Coach Randy Gardner is talking to the home plate umpire, asking where that one missed. And she heads back to the dugout. Little shake of the head, frustration clearly evident. The 1-2 is fouled over to Coach Gardner. In the Hawkeye third base dugout, nice hustle from Avery Jackson to try and cut it off. Comes back with a smile on her face. Rutgers runners on first and second with 2 away. And Katie Wingert at the plate for the Scarlet Knights behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lecker's pitch, and here's a line drive into right field. Carter's going back, battling the sun, but makes the catch just in fair territory. For out number 3. Nice catch by Nia Carter, but not before Rutgers is able to extend their lead by 1 more. 1 run on 3 hits and stranded 2 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Iowa trails 5-1. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye, our radio network.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number 1.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
Welcome back to this edition of Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network. I'm Lucas Strain. Hawkeyes trail at 5-1 in Game 1 of this 3-game set against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And I don't know what Rutgers' school schedule looks like, but the Hawkeyes coming down to the very end. Next week, the last week of classes before finals week. And finals week is, of course, the week of the Big Ten tournament, most important thing for these girls that they're worrying about. Sammy Diaz is the leadoff batter in the home half of the 4th. Fouls one off the netting, 0-1. The Big Ten tournament starts on Wednesday, and it's a one-and-done single elim type of bracket. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if the Hawkeyes were to make it the entire way. And we'll have every game for you here on the Hawkeye Radio Network with Learfield. Hopefully you're not too sick of my voice yet, as we got a couple of games left as the regular season is winding down for the Hawkeyes before we head into the postseason. The count's 1-1 now to Diaz. Diaz has walked. And here's the hard ground ball through the right side, past a couple of diving gloves for Rutgers. And Diaz has a leadoff single into right. We're going to have a runner over at first base now. We had our pinch runner last inning stay in the game at first base is with Stanley. But our pinch runner over at first base now is Haley Down. So now batting for the Hawkeyes is shortstop Torrey Bennett. Haley Down, the runner over at first base, exclusively used as a pinch runner, and Bennett watches ball one. 1-0. Bennett back into the batter's box after taking her time. Jaden Vickers still in the circle. Bennett shows bunt, puts it down the first base line, and it's picked up by With Stanley, who tags Bennett out. And Down advances safely to second, so the sacrifice bunt works for the Hawkeyes. But again, it's a situation in which they trail by 4 runs. At this point, it's 1 run at a time in the mind of Coach Renee Gillespie. Grace Baines now for the Hawkeyes. Baines is 0 for 1, has flied out to right field. And she swings first pitch, fouls it off the netting. So the count is 0-1 now to Grace Baines. Baines, who has moved over to second base after Avery Jackson came in as a substitute. A defensive replacement last half inning. And here's a line drive into deep right center field. Back goes Smith, who makes the catch. Tagging up from second is Down, who slides into third base safely. Baines is able to move the runner. And that was a really good piece. Just happened to be right at Smith. Caught just a little bit too much of the air. But now runner stands on third base, is just a pass ball or a wild pitch away from scoring. And Skyland Pogue has a chance of driving her in. Pogue is 0 for 1. Grounded out to second base. Still trying to get back into the swing of things after taking nearly a month and a half off from catching activities, getting the start today. And she checks her swing but can't hold up. I have to agree with our umpire there. Definitely went nearly the entire way around. Counts 0-1. Pogue is hitting 200 this season. She was ranked 72nd nationally for the class of 2022 by Extra Innings Softball just a year ago. The true freshman was. Fouls it off the end of the bat, 0-2. As I said, came in on Wednesday's game for Doster. Doster having caught the last 22 games in a row for the Hawkeyes. The count's 0-2 to Pogue. And she doesn't change the ball out of the zone. Counts 1 ball and 2 strikes. It's only Pogue's 18th start of the year. She caught quite a few games in the non-conference schedule early in the season, but hadn't seen much playing time in a while. Swings and misses now. So the Hawkeyes strand a runner on third base. And after 4 complete, Rutgers leads it 5-1 over the Hawkeyes. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
Diaz has re-entered the game at first base after getting pinch ran for by Haley Down after the leadoff single. Hawkeyes are getting runners on board, just not gaining, just a couple of mistakes or just a lack of hitting with runners in scoring position. Leads them with only 1 run so far. In today's game, the Hawkeyes are 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position, and the 1 hit came with runners on first and second off the bat of Nia Carter, and it just wasn't hit hard enough to score Klosterman from second. And then a base running mistake from Tatiana Roman got her caught between second and third and got her tagged out. So what was supposed to be a bases loaded, no out situation turned into runners on the corners with 1 away, and the Hawkeyes were only able to score 1 run, their only run of the game thus far. Ryan Orange is leading off the 5th inning for Rutgers, fouls off the first pitch, 0-1. Now I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse, excuse me. I just keep saying the same things over and over again, but the leadoff batter continues to be the biggest problem for this Hawkeye pitching staff. The 0-1 shows bunt, not a good one. It's right to Lecker, who throws over to a covering Baines, and there's out number 1. So I think I'm going to, at the start of every inning now, I'm going to talk about how Iowa has struggles getting the first out runner out, because when I say it before it happens, then they get the out. If you played baseball or softball, you're very superstitious. I played baseball my entire life. Very superstitious with it. And Taylor Fawcett swings first pitch, brings it down the third base line. 0-1. Fawcett is 1 for 1. Hit a bullet out into right field in the second inning on a sacrifice fly to Nia Carter, and also tripled, was about 4 feet from hitting a home run, but it ended up being a 2-run triple off the right center field wall. Tatiana Roman had a chance at making the play, but just ran out of the room. Just ran out of room, not the room. And the 0-1 misses, up and out. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Taylor Fawcett. Fawcett, the senior from Phoenix, Arizona. Another long way to go from southwest part of the country over to Rutgers. The 1-1 misses low and in. 2 balls and 1 strike now. Again, Rutgers losing 8 straight coming into this one. Here's a swing and a miss and a pitch in the dirt. Really nice pitch out of the hand of Leck, her best pitch of the day. Rutgers having lost 8 straight, including getting swept last weekend by Indiana and getting swept the weekend before that by Penn State and losing 2 of 3 against the Ohio State Buckeyes. Pitch misses outside, count goes full. Hawkeyes have lost 4 in a row. A 3-game sweep against Minnesota last weekend and a 7-4 loss to the Iowa State Cyclones on Wednesday this week. And this one's pulled foul as well, so the count remains full. Both teams looking to right the ship before we head into the Big Ten tournament next week. And this one skips across the dirt in front of the plate for ball 4. 1-out walk out of the hand of Denali Lecker. Maddie Lawson, the new Rutgers batter. Lawson 1 for 2. Is hitting nearly everything in that left side between short and third. One of them was a single that reached the outfield. Another was a nice diving / falling to the knees catch by Tori Bennett. Lecker misses outside, 1-0. Fawcett stands on first base with one away for Rutgers. She's going. Hit and run. Knocked down by Bennett at shortstop. And the flip to second. Nice play for the 4-6 fielder's choice. Bennett takes it right off, a short hop right in front of her. Can't tell where it hit her. Able to knock it down on the hit and run and make the underhanded toss to Baines at second for the force out. Really, really nice play there from the Hawkeye shortstop and what had another hard hit ball off the bat of Lawson. So now Kirsten with Stanley for Rutgers, who came in as a pinch runner for Herka. Stayed in the game defensively and now will get to bat. Watches ball one out of the hand of Lecker, 1-0. Lecker has now gone 2 1/3 innings. He's getting ready to, is close to her 50th pitch of the game though. She has the ability of going deep into games, however, as here's a pop fly in shallow right center field. Baines goes back and makes the catch just into the grass for out number 3. As we head into our 5th inning stretch, Iowa trails 5-1. And 2 up for the Hawkeyes is 9-1-2 with Jackson, BK, and Roman. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number 1.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
Bit of action for the Hawkeyes outside of the softball world. NFL draft, of course, happening. And a little bit ago, Sam Laporta, the Iowa tight end at a tight end university for the Hawkeyes, was just drafted in the 2nd round, 34th pick by the Detroit Lions. And of course, Detroit taking Jack Campbell with the 18th overall pick yesterday in the 1st round. So a pair of Hawkeyes now playing in Detroit. You remember Detroit also drafted TJ Hawkinson a couple of years back with the 8th overall pick. So the Iowa City to Detroit factory continues. And Lucas Van Ness, another 1st round pick for the Hawkeyes in yesterday's draft, with 13th overall to the Green Bay Packers. Avery Jackson will lead off the home half of the 5th, swings and fouls one off the netting, 0-1. University of Iowa Healthcare has the game plan for your same-day healthcare needs. If you need treatment for a common illness or minor injury, visit one of several UI Quick Care or Urgent Care locations throughout the Iowa City-Cedar Rapids corridor. Their care and expertise will help you get back in the game. UI Healthcare is proud to sponsor your Iowa Hawkeyes. No balls and 2 strikes now on Jackson, who's getting her first plate appearance of the day. Came in as a defensive replacement a couple of innings ago in place of Anna Streff. The two of them just competing for that final infield spot. Jackson chases out of the zone for strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night strikeout for Jaden Vickers. And it's Vickers' 3rd strikeout of the evening. Back to the top of the Hawkeye order in Briley Klosterman. Klosterman is 0 for 1, but also reached on a catcher's interference to lead off the, let's see, that was the 3rd inning. She eventually came around and scored as well. Watches strike 1, 0-1. Vickers' pitch count's been really good for Rutgers as well, just through her 60th pitch of the game. Iowa offense they're not hitting poorly either. 5 of 15 as a squad. As ball one misses upstairs. It's just been the inability to push the runs across the board once they eventually get on. Couple of base running mistakes, and as a team, they're just 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. The 1-1 misses up high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Of course, we've talked about this time and time again. Hawkeyes just rolling out a completely different lineup starting on Wednesday. Briley Klosterman slides into the leadoff spot this after hitting leadoff all last season. Was hitting in much of the lower part of the lineup, 5, sometimes 6, sometimes 7, sometimes 8. But is back into the leadoff spot, a very comfortable position for her. Watches strike 2, and the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Iowa trails at 5-1 in the home half of the 5th inning. So the count's 2-2. And Klosterman hits one off the fist, a spinner, but it goes foul towards the first base dugout. Klosterman hitting .269, a .360 OBP. A team that's hitting .283 as a squad this year. And of course, much of that carried by Nia Carter, who's hitting just a touch under 500. Just 4 points behind the Rutgers batting total. And Klosterman watches ball 3 upstairs, and the count goes full. Doesn't chase at it. He was up and in her eyes. Shows good plate discipline. Klosterman gets in her hot and cold stretches, looking to get a hot streak going right now. The full count pitch, he's swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the bottom of the 5th inning for Vickers. And there are 2 away. Tatiana Roman now for the Hawkeyes, who has 2 of their 5 hits. One was an infield single on the left side of the infield, and the second was a line drive into left. Remember, she was one who made that base running mistake, getting caught between second and third. Takes the slap approach, but this one misses up high above her head, 1-0. You see the corners for Rutgers play in on the edge, and they're playing literally right on the line. Both about 10 feet in from the bag. And she watches strike 1 on the inside part of the plate to even the count. Roman is hitting .314 this season. In the Big Ten, she's hitting 15 of 56 coming into the weekend. It was a really cold start for Big Ten play, but has turned it on as of late. And here's a weak line drive to shortstop, which is caught by Sand. He was hit right at her. And the Hawkeyes go 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 5th inning. As we head to the top of the 6th, Iowa trails 5-1. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Radio Network.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number 1.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye Softball.
To the top of the 6th inning we go. It's 9-1-2 due up for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. When corn grows fuel, Iowans win. Ethanol is a renewable fuel that's better for our environment, our health, and our wallets. Share your winning moments using hashtag IowensWin. Plus, you'll be eligible for some fun, corny giveaways. We're going to have a pinch hitter here to lead off the top of the 6th inning. Pinch hitter in the place of Hura. In place of Kobe Hura, the pinch hitter is number 10, Caleb Bach. Bach, a junior out of Coatesville, Pennsylvania. So a little bit closer to home than what we've seen from other Rutgers players in this game. And watches ball 1 out of the hand of Denali Lecker. Lecker, who's gone 2 2/3 innings in relief for the Hawkeyes after Brianna Vasquez got the start and went 2 1/3 innings, I should say, giving up 3 runs. And the count is now 2-0. Bach is hitting .300 this year with a .400 OBP. 9 for 30, so a bit of a small sample size. Watches strike 1 on the upper, maybe the outside part of the zone as well. Bach's 24th appearance on the season. 7 of her 9 hits this year have been singles, so not the highest slugging percentage for the junior. And she has seen more of the defensive replacement late in games. Counts 3-1 now as she watches 1. Missed just out of the zone. The 3-1 pitch from Lecker is low for ball 4. And I'll take that one, guys. That's my responsibility. I forgot to say the fact about leadoff batters. So the 6th inning in which Rutgers has come to the plate, in the 4th time in which the leadoff batter has reached base safely, this time via the walk. We're going to have a runner over at first base, and re-entering the game is Hura. So Bach comes in, doesn't swing at a pitch, draws a 5-pitch walk, and her day's done. He is ran for by Hura. Back to the top of the order for Rutgers. Kylie Sand is 2 for 3. She shows bunt, gets it down, but foul. Nice call by the home plate umpire. Pogue behind the plate was up and ready to go, though. Sand, 2 for 3, is hit safely in both of her last 2 plate appearances after popping up to lead off the game, but she's got a pair of doubles into left field. And the last time was a double that reached the wall, and she was thrown out trying to stretch the double into a triple. The shortstop's been very aggressive on the base paths. Reminds me very much of Skylar Shellmeyer over for Northwestern. Watches ball 1 outside, 1-1. I say that in the fact that they're both left-handed batters. They aggressive at the plate, and they're even more aggressive on the bases. The 1-1 is called ball, and the throw down to second base is made. The tag is made by Bennett. A nice throw from Skyland Pogue behind the plate, and we saw Coach Gillespie said Skyland Pogue has an elite arm behind the dish, and that's why we were going to see her this weekend. So Pogue gets the start, and in her first chance of throwing somebody out, gets the 2-6 put out. The pitch was called a strike as Hura gets thrown out trying to steal. And they actually change it to a ball. The count is 2 balls and 1 strike. So I was right initially. I thought it was called a ball at the moment. This one's called a strike, however, and the count evens at 2-2. Rutgers in the midst of an 8-game losing streak, but a 30-win season, their most wins since 2013. Pulls this one foul down the right field line. Sand, somebody we've seen, has gone the other way in all three of her plate appearances thus far. In the 2-2, curveball misses low and inside, and the count now goes full to Kylie Sand, the Rutgers leadoff hitter. This after a leadoff walk from Bach, and then a caught stealing was Hura, thrown out by Pogue. Count's now full, and she doesn't chase the off-speed low and away. Back-to-back walks now from Denali Lecker. We'll see if Kylie Sand tries to get things going on the bases now. She is one of the elite base runners in the Big Ten. 26 of 31 this season. This Rutgers team, third most steals in the Big Ten, with 77 of them on the year. Sand with 26 of those 77. We'll see if she tries to swipe second now. Peyton Lincavage, Rutgers 2-hole, now bats with a runner on first. Watches ball one, up and out. Lincavage, 3 plate appearances, but still is yet to tally an at-bat in this game. He's hit by a pitch, laid down a sacrifice bunt, and walked. The 1-0 changeup is called strike, and the count is 1-1. Sun's now beginning to set here in Iowa City. Shadows just about reaching, or I should say, are just reaching the chalk of the circle. The 1-1 is called strike on the inner part. 1 ball and 2 strikes. We see Nia Carter out in right field wearing sunglasses, as is Tatiana Roman out in center. Oftentimes you'll see them raise their hand to try and shield the sun as well, as it's planted just behind the third base dugout. And here's a ground ball to Bennett at shortstop, who charges. Her only play is at first, and she makes the strong throw over. And there's 2 away. Nice play there from Tori Bennett. Didn't have a chance at the double play. It was hit so softly, and she had to charge it. But Sand now stands at second, and she's in scoring position for Morgan Smith. Smith is 2 for 3. Has singled twice to the left side. Everything's been to the left side off the bat of Smith. Has fouled out in left field, in foul territory, I should say, as she watches strike 1, 0-1. Smith has an RBI today, and she swings and just fouls it off, and is quickly behind no balls and 2 strikes. So Kylie stands on second base. Morgan Smith's at the plate behind 0-2. Denali Lecker in the circle. Hawkeyes trail 5-1 in the top of the 6th inning, a strike away from coming back to the plate. The pitch is missed outside, 1-2. Denali Lecker getting ready to throw what is close to her 70th pitch of the game. We know she has the ability to go the distance. Earlier this season against Penn State, we saw her come in the first inning after only 1 out, as this one's fouled down the third baseline. She came in relief after Jalen Adams got just 1 out before Denali Lecker went 6 2/3 innings in relief and got the win in Iowa's victory over Penn State. So the count's 1-2. And here's a ground ball back to Bennett at shortstop, who makes the play easily for out number 3. Couple of plays by Tori Bennett at shortstop. And that's back-to-back innings. Rutgers goes scoreless. As we head to the bottom of the 6th, Iowa trails 5-1, due up. Carter, Lecker, and Diaz. You're listening to Iowa Softball with Learfield.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oaknall.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
Jaden Vickers still in the circle for Rutgers as Nia Carter is going to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Hawkeyes. Carter is just doing her normal thing. He's 2 for 2 with a pair of line drive singles, one into center, one into right. As the Hawkeyes only hit this season, not this season, excuse me, only hit today when they had runners in scoring position. The squad is 1 for 6. So Nia Carter getting her first at-bat since the 3rd inning. Iowa offense has gone kind of quiet. 5 hits through 5 innings, but only 1 run to show for it. Iowa City Tire and Service is a proud supporter of Hawkeye softball. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Iowa City Tire, where service actually comes first. So Carter shows bunt, kind of late, but pulls back, and the count's 1-0. Corners are in, of course, because we know how much Nia Carter likes to bunt for a base hit. And again, they're just playing right on the line. As Carter swings and fouls one down the third base line and out of play. Nia Carter, the captain of this team, also caught the warm-up, not the warm-up, but the first pitch today from her mother, something the Hawkeyes were doing, as it is senior day on Sunday. As the 1-1 misses inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. The parents of the 3 seniors on the team got to throw out the first pitch, and it was caught by their daughters. So Nia Carter catching the first pitch of today's game. The 2-1. And she shows bunt, gets it down. It's in fair territory down the right side. And the throw gets away down into right field. Carter advances to second base. And that should go down as a hit and then an error, in my opinion. And I am hearing word that will go down as a hit and an error. A perfectly placed bunt for Nia Carter. And then the throw hit off of Carter's arm, or maybe just nicked off the glove of the second baseman, Lawson. But the error gets charged to Vickers. And Iowa now has a runner on second base, and Nia Carter with Denali Lecker at the plate. Lecker watches first pitch fastball miss outside, 1-0. Lecker is 0 for 1, has struck out and hit a sacrifice fly, drove in the only Iowa run so far today. So the count's 1-0. Vickers into the motion and the pitch. And here's a fly ball into deep center field. Back at the wall, and it is gone. See you later. Denali Lecker with a 2-run home run, her first home run of Big Ten play, and the Hawkeyes trail 5-3. A no-doubter off the bat of Denali Lecker. She rounds third and heads home, flaps the wings, and lets the Hawk fly. Her first home run of Big Ten play, and that's got to be a good feeling. Hawkeyes trending back in the right direction. Nia Carter led it off with a bunt single, and then Denali Lecker backs it up with her 8th home run of the year to lead the team. A no-doubter off the bat of Denali Lecker into right center field. Goes over the trees out there behind the wall, and now Iowa trails by 2. And they've still got 6 outs to play with. Sammy Diaz now for the Hawkeyes. Diaz is 1 for 1. Has walked and singled on a hard ground ball into right. Fouls it off the netting. 0-1. Lecker's first time back in the cleanup spot, and I couldn't even tell you how long. It's been a long time. And how does she respond? She hits a 2-run home run into center field. Her first home run since March 12th. Well, her first home run since March 11th, I should say. And this one misses upstairs to Diaz, 1-1. Hawkeyes looking to really keep this momentum going. I have to imagine it's their first momentum of the day. Yet to lead in this ball game. Trailed 4-0 at one point, but now trail only 5-3. As this one's fouled off, and the count's 1-2. One ball and 2 strikes. And she fouls it off again. And we'll do it again. Looking at the Rutgers pitching staff to see who would be the likely candidate to come in relief if Vickers were to stay in trouble. Next up would more than likely be Ramey Gamsby. As Diaz watches ball 2. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ramey Gamsby has 24 appearances on the year, second most, only behind Vickers. Most likely candidate to come back in. Hard ground ball and snagged by Vickers in the circle. Oh, what a play. That had base hit written all over it. Off the bat of Diaz, a hard ground ball back up the middle, but Vickers sticks her glove out and is able to find it. Goes down as a 1-3 putout. One away now. Tori Bennett stepping into the box. Has flied out into center field and placed a sacrifice bunt. Bennett, of course, been struggling as of late, but got some really good pieces on the Wednesday game against the Cyclones, including a double into the right center field gap. And watches the first pitch miss for ball 1. Bennett is hitting .302 this season and was hitting up and close to the 320s at one point before this. 1 for close to 20. 1 for her last 20-ish. And hits a pop fly on the infield. Can of corn for Lawson at second base, who makes the catch. 2 away. So quickly 2 away following the Lecker homer. And now Grace Baines will be the new Hawkeye batter. Baines is 0 for 2. Has flied out and lined out into right and center field respectively. And the first pitch misses low and inside. 1-0. Baines, just like Lecker, is one that could use something that can change the tide. Gone on a bit of a cold streak after what was a very hot start to Big Ten play. Watches this one miss inside, 2-0. Now, when we talked to Coach Gillespie yesterday, doesn't really matter if we're getting hits as long as the Hawkeyes are getting on base. Very much of the money ball approach. We're going to ask Pete, why do we like him? Because they get on base. The 2-0 is called strike. on the lower inside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. We say Baines still gets on base because her OBP is still over 320. And she watches strike 2 in the exact same spot. And deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Baines is rocking an OPS of just below 700. So it's still been a good season for the junior despite her recent struggles. The 2-2 fouled off. Baines staying tough on a pitch that was pretty close to the border. Looking to add on to what was a 2-run home run off the bat of Denali Lecker. Lecker's 8th home run of the season. It brought the Hawkeyes within 2. Ian Carter led off the inning with a bunt single. Advanced to second on an air, but then Lecker hit a home run. Here's a line drive into right center field. It's going to find the gap. Baines rounds first and heads to second. Head first slide is safe. And that's a 2-out double for Grace Baines, and the Hawkeyes have a runner in scoring position. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter at the plate in the form of Tristan Doster. I said that Grace Baines could use something like Lecker to turn the tide and get things going back in the right direction, and that's it. A 2-out double into the right center field gap, and we will have a pinch hitter in Tristan Doster in place of Skyland Pogue. Have to assume that Doster will just likely stay in the game defensively in the catching spot, and we have a meeting in the circle for Rutgers. See somebody standing out in the Rutgers bullpen, taking a look in to see if they're going to get the call. Can't see the number. But a really nice piece of hitting off the bat of Grace Baines. A piece on the outside part of the plate and able to take it the other way and drive a double into the right center field gap. Tristan Doster represents the tying run at the plate for the Hawkeyes. Has 2 home runs on the season. Has a chance to tie the game with 1 swing of the bat. One problem, however, is she's also in a bit of a cold streak. 1 for her last 17 over the last 7 games. That's another reason why Coach Gillespie elected to go with Pogue in the start. But Doster, the better bat, and she's hitting over 300 on the season. And again, a home run would tie the game for the Hawkeyes. First base stands open and Avery Jackson stands on deck. And here's a pass ball off the glove of the catcher and Wingert. Baines advances to third. Then just hit off the glove of the Rutgers catcher. So Baines now stands at third base. Counts 1-0 to Tristan Doster, again the pinch hitter, in the 8th spot in this Iowa order. Avery Jackson stands on deck. Jackson hitting just .133 this season. Doster swings and misses, and the count's 1-1. Coach Gillespie clapping her on from the third base box. Outfield's deep. Don't really care about the runner on third. Doster chases out of the zone for strike 2, and the count's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Baines stands on third base. Rutgers leads at 5-3 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Tristan Doster's at the plate behind 1-2. Fouls it off. Staying alive is Doster. Doster, 21 strikeouts on the season. Tied for the around middle of the pack for this Hawkeye roster. Goes into the 2-strike approach where she shows bunt and then pulls back. Counts 1-2. Baines is on third, and the pitch misses upstairs. And Count evens, and deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Bain stands on third base. Doster's at the plate, representing the game-tying run. Can tie the game with 1 swing. Vickers into the motion and the pitch. He is a pop fly in foul territory down the first base line and caught by With Stanley, the Rutgers first baseman. So the Hawkeyes get 2 more and pull within 2. And as we head to the top of the 7th inning, Iowa trails 5-3. You're listening to Iowa Softball on the Hawkeye Sports Network.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
To the top of the 7th we go, between the Hawkeyes and the Scarlet Knights. Rutgers leads it 5-3 after Iowa scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning off of a 2-run homer off the bat of Denali Lecker. Her first home run in Big Ten play, her team leading 8th one of the season. And she's still in the circle. Re-entering the game for Iowa behind the plate is Skyland Pogue. So Tristan Doster just comes in for the pinch hit spot and pops up in foul territory at first base. Other than that, the rest of the Hawkeye team stays the same. Denali Lecker in the circle has gone 3 2/3 innings in relief. 3 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs. After Brianna Vasquez started this game, as here's a foul ball down the left field line. Brianna Vasquez started this game for the Hawkeyes. Went 2 1/3 innings, giving up 3 runs. Another rough outing for the Iowa A's, but Denali Lecker has done pretty well in relief. Is facing Katie Wingert for Rutgers. And this one's in the dirt. Nice stop by Pogue behind the dish. 1-1. It's 4-5-6 up right now for the Scarlet Knights. Wingert is 1 for 3. The 1-1 is a line drive down the right field line, and foul, says our home plate umpire. Just over the outstretched glove of Sammy Diaz, and that's about as close of a fair foul ball that you're going to see. I couldn't even see it as our base umpire was standing right in front of where it landed. But the home plate umpire raises both arms into the air and calls it foul. Hawkeyes catch a bit of a break, as that was at least 2, maybe 3 for Wingert. The 1-2 misses low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wingert hitting in the cleanup spot. Hitting .292 this season with a .424 OBP. Iowa looking to retire the Rutgers leadoff batter. The count is full. And I said I'm going to try and do my best. And I'm going to try and remember now. It's after 6 innings in which Rutgers has come to the plate, the leadoff batter has reached safely in 4 of them. Iowa looking to stop that trend now. The full count pitch is a weak ground ball on the left side. Avery Jackson comes up and fires over to first base. Nice strong throw and a nice catch by Sammy Diaz, and it goes down as a 5-3 putout in the books. Avery Jackson, who came in as a defensive replacement around the 3rd or 4th inning in this game, in place of Anna Streff, comes up firing for the first out of the 7th. Ryan Orange is the new Rutgers batter. Orange is 1 for 3, and she tripled on a hard ground ball into right center field in the 2nd inning and eventually came around and scored the first run of the game for Rutgers. And the first pitch from Leckers fouled off over the first base dugout. 0-1. Orange, a candidate that we could see, come in relief as well. Has 20 innings pitched this season. Watches ball one miss up and out. 1-1. We haven't had much difficulty with the sun all day, as the clouds have been out for most of the time. It's now 69 degrees, just dropping below 70 for the first time since first pitch. This pitch misses outside as well. 2-1, but again, Hawkeyes won't complain about it, about the temperature dropping just a little bit. This coming after playing in 35-degree weather a weekend ago in Minneapolis. Leckers behind 2-1 strike. And here's a hard ground ball back up the middle, past the diving glove of Bennett at shortstop, and that's a one-out single for Ryan Orange. Hard ground ball back up the middle, bounced over the head of Lecker in the circle, and Tori Bennett dove full extension, but it was out of her reach. One-out single for Orange, her second hit of the game. And the dangerous Taylor Fawcett now. Fawcett is 1 for 1. Has tripled into right center field. It was a triple that was about 4 feet from going out. Hit over halfway up the wall, ball one. She's also walked and hit a sacrifice fly. His 3 RBIs on the day, 2 of them on that triple off the wall. And this one misses outside, 2-0. 2 balls and no strikes as Orange stands on first base. Hawkeyes trail by 2 in the top of the 7th. This one misses low and inside as well, so Lecker is now behind 3 balls and no strikes. Gets a high five from Tori Bennett, the Hawkeye shortstop. Reminding Lecker everything, it's going to be all right. Just throw strikes and we'll take care of you. Hawkeyes haven't made an error yet today. The 3-0 pitch misses low and inside. So that's back-to-back 4-pitch walks drawn by Fawcett. So a single followed by a walk. And there's runners at first and second. Runners on first and second with 1 away. And Maddie Lawson is the new Rutgers batter. Another one of those Scarlet Knights that puts everything on the left side of the infield. Is singled into left, lined out to Tori Bennett at shortstop, and hit a hard ground ball to Bennett at short. He's 1 for 3 today. Watches strike 1. Lawson, the second baseman, hitting .242 this year. He's hitting .250 when she is runners in scoring position, and Orange stands on second at the moment. Strike 2 taken. So Lecker follows up the 4-pitch walk with 2 quick strikes against Maddie Lawson. It's ahead 0-2. In what is game 1 of our 3-game set, Hawkeyes' final home series of the year. The 0-2 misses low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Iowa sitting in 7th place right now in the Big Ten, looking to make their way back up the standings. Another ball hit on the left side to Bennett at shortstop, who throws to third for the 6'5 fielder's choice, cutting down the lead runner. Nice play from Bennett. I hope we're watching the scouting reports, because absolutely everything has been hit hard on the left side of the field by Maddie Lawson. So we're going to have a re-entry now in the place of With Stanley. She was the starting first baseman. Was Megan Herka, starting at first. Singled into right field, was pinch ran for by With Stanley. But Herka is re-entering now in what is a big spot. in which they need a big base hit. There's 2 away with runners on first and second. Fawcett's on second, and we have a runner over at first base as well. Believe it's number 2, Lane. So there's runners on first and second. And here's a ball in the dirt. Nice block by Pogue behind the plate. Really nice job in what is Pogue's first start in a long time. Catching abilities hasn't left her. Also has also caught a runner stealing in this game. Lecker losing just a little bit of her command. And here's a fly ball along the left side. It's going to stay on the infield. And caught by Tori Bennett for out number 3. It was a sky-high fly ball off the bat of Megan Herka. It's caught by Bennett for out number 3. We're heading to the bottom of the 7th inning. Iowa trails 5-3. Scheduled for the Hawkeyes is 9-1-2 in the order. Avery Jackson, Briley Klosterman, Tatiana Roman due up for the Hawkeyes. Jaden Vickers remains in the circle for the Scarlet Knights. Vickers has gone all 6 innings this far, has given up 3 runs on 8 Hawkeye hits, 4 strikeouts and 1 walk. Avery Jackson is scheduled to lead off. It looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter for her, though, because Coach Gillespie is out talking to our home plate umpire. We'll wait to see who it is. And it appears that our pinch hitter, yes, who I predicted it was going to be, is going to be number 43, Emma Henderson. Emma Henderson pinch hit on Wednesday as well. Struck out, and the only time she came to bat. Pinch hitting in the spot of Avery Jackson. Emma Henderson, the 5'8" sophomore from Battleground, Indiana, has a twin sister on the team, and Anna Henderson. The 2 of them were battery mates earlier this season. Has been used pretty much exclusively as a pinch hitter since Big Ten play has started. We also have a defensive replacement for Rutgers. Playing first base is number 4 in Punk. Number 4, Lauren Punk, the junior from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. So a couple of moves and counter moves from our respective head coaches. Henderson comes up swinging first pitch, but comes up empty. That was a home run of a swing from Emma Henderson, but she came up empty, 0-1. Henderson this year is hitting .286, a .348 OBP, and is slugging .333, .750 when she's in the leadoff spot. Watches strike 2 on the outer half. Just caught that black on the plate, and Henderson is now down no balls and 2 strikes. Henderson, that pretty much just serves as a DH or a pinch hitter. We'll see what would happen in that spot of the order if the Hawkeyes were able to tie things up and we'd head to extras. Fouls it off, stays alive, 0-2. Have to imagine that if that were to happen, we'd see Anna Streff would re-enter the game. She was the starter, was replaced by Avery Jackson, but Jackson now getting pitch hit for by Emma Henderson. The count's 0-2 from Vickers to Henderson, and the pitch is outside, and Henderson's able to just check her swing, says our first base umpire, and the count's 1-2. wanted to chase at it, but was able to just hold up. She's behind 1-2 now, but she swings and misses now. A ball up around her chest, but it comes up empty. And there's one away now in the bottom of the 7th. Back to the top of the order for the Hawkeyes and Briley Klosterman. Klosterman is 0 for 2. Has grounded out to second, struck out swinging, but has also reached on a fielder's choice and later came around and scored. Klosterman, the left-handed stick, back in the leadoff spot for only the second time in Big Ten play. Was last year's leadoff batter, looking to start a rally now. Watches ball 1. Yesterday, and the Hawkeyes mini rally in the bottom of the 7th, or I should say on Wednesday, Klosterman had an infield single on the right side of the field. She's ahead 1-0 now. The lefty-lefty matchup, this one's up and in her eyes. Vickers over 100 pitches on the day. We've seen action down in the Rutgers bullpen, but it's been Vickers' ball. She's behind 2-0 now, the Briley Klosterman. Have to imagine that maybe Hawkeyes get a runner on, then we'd see the pitching change. The 2-0 is in and off the hands. Back at the netting. I thought I had a play on it. And the count's 2 balls and 1 strike. Tying run is on deck in Tatiana Roman. Roman, who's been swinging it well lately for the Hawkeyes. Klosterman is ahead 2 balls and 1 strike right now, however. The 2-1 is swung on and missed. And the count evens at 2-2. I think she was thinking about a home run on that swing. But again, a home run doesn't do anything for Iowa. It's a 2-run game. At this point, you just need to get a runner on. You can't hit a game-tying solo home run and score 2 runs. You just can't do it. The count's 2-2. And here's a pop fly on the infield in foul territory now. It'll stay in fair territory, but it's caught by Lynn Cabbage on the infield. And there are 2 away now, and the Hawkeyes are down to their last chance in Tatiana Roman. Roman, 2 for 3 today. Has singled twice, once on the infield, once a line drive into left, but has also lined out to the shortstop. She went 3 for 4 in Sunday's game against Minnesota. And she swings first pitch. It's a weak ground ball to shortstop, and the throw over to first is in time for the 3rd and final out. And that's going to be it. Final score, Rutgers 5, Iowa 3. Hawkeyes lose their 5th straight game in a row as Rutgers ends their 8-game losing streak. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be back with our post-game coverage. You've been listening to Iowa Softball with Learfield.
After a cancer diagnosis, it's natural to want to start treatment right away. But first, get a second opinion from a team that specializes in your cancer. I'm Dr. George Weiner, Director of University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you start treatment, you deserve to be confident you have the right diagnosis and know every option available to you. So whether it's with us or somewhere else, get a second opinion. It can change your care and your life.
Hi, Hawkeye fans. My name is Denali.
And I'm Briley, and we're members of your Iowa Hawkeye softball team.
Our team is striving to be number 1.
And that's why we trust our vehicles to Iowa City Tire and Service, the #1 automotive shop in Iowa City.
Where service actually comes first.
Iowa City Tire and Service, where their customers become friends because they treat you like family. Find them at 410 Kirkwood Avenue or online at ictire.com. Proud sponsors of Hawkeye softball.
We all love a good win. Catching up with friends, saving money at the pump, soaking up the perfect Iowa day, sitting down to a really, really good meal. These are the everyday delights that make us smile. These are the moments that connect us all as Iowans. And these are the wins that, more often than not, start with Iowa's farm families and the crop they're growing. Because when corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Learn more about how to share your own wins at iowacorn.org/IowansWin.
At Oak Knoll, our mission is to provide exceptional retirement living and health services through life care. I'm Steve Rowe, Executive Director. We are a not-for-profit life plan community and have served Iowa City for more than 55 years. Our team helps residents create home by living our values of caring, respect, enthusiasm, awareness, teamwork, and encouragement. If you're looking at retirement options, visit our website at oakknoll.com. We want you to lead life your way. Go Hawks!
As we begin our post-game coverage of Game 1 of our three-game set between the Iowa Hawkeyes and Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Rutgers wins by a final score of 5-3. Iowa getting a big two-run home run off the bat of Denali Lecker to try and spark a comeback. But it came up just short. As Vickers with the complete game for Rutgers. Jaden Vickers, the senior from Crystal River, Florida, going a final box score of 7 innings, giving up 3 runs, 2 of them earned. Striking out 5 Hawkeyes and walking 1. Brianna Vasquez takes the loss for Iowa, going 2 1/3 innings, allowing 3. As Iowa loses Game 1 of the series by a final score of 5-3. Iowa returns tomorrow right around 2 o'clock for Game 2 of the series. Iowa having lost their 5th straight game in a row. Rutgers ending what was an 8-game losing streak. Iowa drops to 28-22 on the season and 8-10 in Big Ten play. Rutgers gets their 31st win of the year and have the same conference record now as the Hawkeyes, both sitting, of course, at 8-10. Couple other teams with that same record, so tie-breaking procedures will break things up just a little bit. Couple of base running mistakes were the big reason in which Iowa struggled in this game. I'm just writing down a couple of questions I wanted to talk to. Coach Gillespie about in our post-game press conference. The team had a couple of base running errors, especially in that 3rd inning. In which would have been a bases loaded and nobody out situation for the Hawkeyes, turned into runners on the corners with 1 away after Tatiana Roman got stuck between 2nd and 3rd. And then in that same inning, Nia Carter gets picked off of first base on a snap throw down to the bag from the catcher and in Wingert for Rutgers. And then before the Lecker home run, the team was just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and the one hit wasn't one which was able to score a run either. So the team getting runners on, 8 hits in the ball game. Just the inability to push them across. In what was the 2nd game in a row, we saw a makeshift lineup for the Hawkeyes. Brianna Vasquez gets the start for Iowa. She goes 2 1/3. She goes 2 1/3, giving up 3 runs on 4 hits. And what was another rough outing for Vasquez. Denali Lecker looked pretty good in relief. Goes 4 2/3, giving up 2 runs. Brianna Vasquez's ERA on the season now climbs to 2.32, and this after sitting well below 2 for much of the year. Now up to 2.3 after she was a top 10 pitcher in the terms of the Big Ten season thus far, individual ERA. But this Rutgers offense, I told you at the top, they are a high-profile team, and they were just hitting everything on the button. Chased her out of the game early. And Vasquez, what was another short outing on Wednesday, didn't do too well. But this Rutgers offense was just jumping all over her. Couple of hard hit balls, a triple in the second, followed by a sacrifice fly and a hard rip. Got her out of the game quickly. If we look at the Iowa offense, first person you have to mention is, of course, Denali Lecker. Lecker finally gets the first home run off her shoulders, gets the monkey off her back, gets her first home run in Big Ten play. Goes 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs, driving in all 3 runs for the Hawkeyes. And that's something we'll talk to Gillespie about. Lecker's first game back in the cleanup spot in who knows how long. And she responds with the home run and all 3 RBI. Ask her how proud she is of Lecker's response. And then the next person I'd like to point out is Nia Carter. Carter goes 3 for 3. And she gets on base in all 3 of her plate appearances today. 3 for 3 with 3 straight singles. As she continues what's been a very dominant season for the Hawkeyes. And then Tatiana Roman started the game real hot as well. Had an infield single in the first, and then also singled into left field on a line drive. Finished the day going 2 for 4, scoring once. Again, all the production's been coming from the top of the order. Got to see some more production out of the bottom. Add that to the list that we'll talk to Coach Gillespie about when she eventually makes her way up into the press box for our post-game interview. If we look at the production that I'm talking about, in the top 4 spots in the order, and really we can just exclude Klosterman as well. If we just look at 2, 3, and 4, that's where primarily all of the production came today. Roman goes 2 for 4, scoring a run. Carter goes 3 for 3, scoring a run. And Lecker goes 1 for 3, scoring and driving in 3. So all of the run production came from spots 2 through 4 in the order. The only others, they tallied for 6 of the team's 8 hits. The other spot coming from Diaz, who was even hitting cleanup, or was hitting 5. So 2, 3, 4, and 5 tallying for 7 of the team's 8 hits. As I see Coach Gillespie's now making the walk towards the bleachers, and she'll make her way up into the press box. As we'll ask our post-game press conference as we're wrapping up our post-game coverage. Again, final score. Rutgers 5, Iowa 3. Iowa losing their 5th game in a row. And I think I'm going to just play it nice with Coach Gillespie. After what was a rough loss, I see her talking to more media. I think I'll cut her some slack on this one. I think I'll cut our post-game press conference with Coach Gillespie short and just cancel it as a whole, let her get on with her day, enjoy the rest of her Friday night. So we're going to wrap things up Again, the Hawkeyes return tomorrow for Game 2 of the series against Rutgers. Tomorrow's Alumni Day. Game first pitch is scheduled to be at 2 o'clock. Game 2 of our 3-game set between the Hawkeyes and Rutgers Scarlet Knights. As a reminder, final score in this one, Rutgers 5, Iowa 3. Wherever you may be listening from, I thank you very much for tuning into this edition of Iowa Softball. I'm Lucas Strain. We thank you very much for listening. And have a good night, everybody.
Iowa Hawkeye Softball has been brought to you by Homewood and Home 2 Suites, preferred hotel of the Hawkeye Radio Network. Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. When corn grows Iowa, Iowans win. Oak Knoll, an active life care community. University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Wimmer's Meats, the official hot dog of the Hawkeyes. And by Iowa City Tire and Service, a proud supporter of Hawkeye Softball. Iowa City Tire, where service actually comes first. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.